So here we are from first gear. This thing was shock, absolutely shock loads of newer performance cars, and then sneeze at them at the end. Welcome back guys to another video, and what I've got for you today is, as you can see behind me, it is the E92 335i Coupe. Now if you know anything about these cars were one of the first kind of like turbocharged mass-produced cars BMW ever made, and they've got such a epic reputation, should I say. They have got their fair share of niggly little faults, which I'll go through on the actual rest of this video, but honestly it's such an amazing car. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video today guys. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Performance Lifestyles. Check us out on Instagram, performance_lifestyles, and we're on Facebook as well, Performance Lifestyles. And if you'd like your car featured on the channel, please don't hesitate to drop us an email, pflifestyle@hotmail.com, and we will be more than happy to accommodate. But for today, 335i with a few little mods on it, so it's not just a standard car. So I hope you enjoy the video guys. Check it out. The E92 335i Coupe, and this one's had a few touches done to it, so it looks way better than a standard car. Standard cars, I think they look a bit too plain and simple, especially in this day and age, because they are about 16 odd years old, so to see a nice example is actually quite a rarity, and this is one fine example. Alhamdulillah, it's a beautiful car, and the touches that have been done to it have actually improved the actual overall look of this car. And even in this day and age, I think it still looks fantastic. It still looks very, very good, and it's got a presence on the road with the actual touches on it. So the first thing you've probably noticed is it's got these 19-inch alloy wheels. I can't remember the name of them. I think it was Avant-Garde, but they're a bit like a, I don't know, you can see them there. They look like that. And because the car's been lowered, it's on coilovers, so it actually suits the car quite well. And it's got obviously the staggered fitment, so the rears have got a bit more of a concave going, so you might be able to see it there. But yeah, honestly, they look so good. The rear tyres again are, I think they're 275s maybe, 265. 3019s on the front will probably be 225, 235s, standard sorts of 235s. So Michelin Pilot 4s. Michelin Pilot Sports. So the owner's got some good tyres on there. And honestly, this car still, like I said, it still looks very good. It's got an aggressive sort of front end to it, which the M Sport versions of these cars had. They had all these little, the front bumper was designed like that, and obviously this little lip on the bottom here. I think this car with the splitter on will be too low, and it will just catch and scrape over everything. And then it had the halo sort of side DRL sort of thing. Black kidney grills, which I think is a must-have on these cars. Standard, I believe they are chrome, like the M4s, and I think they look a bit pants. So the black ones actually make it look way better. So with it being a 335i, it's got the massive brake calipers. They're not like your Brembo style calipers, they are conventional style, but they are humongous. I mean, even there, just compared to my hand, it's like, they are, yeah, they're humongous. And the brake discs, again, very big. And this one's actually got some LED sequential style indicators, which I'll put a little clip in here so you'll get to see what they're like. It's quite a snazzy touch, aftermarket again, but it's quite a snazzy touch. And the mirrors, they had this funky design to them back on the E90 sort of days. I think the E46 M3, they were similar to that, but I think they had an extra spoke. But yeah, they actually look quite smart. And again, this has had an aftermarket rear spoiler, which I think looks quite good because it makes the rear end of the car look quite aggressive. And if you weren't looking at obviously the badge, which states it's a 335i, the 335i giveaway is the twin tailpipes, one on each side. This car does have a stainless steel exhaust system, upgraded intercooler, decat downpipes, and a stage 2 map. So it's running at 420 odd brake horsepower. So it's safe to say it's a very capable car even in this day and age compared to the performance cars of nowadays. And honestly, this car is very, very good. Anybody that's got a bit of a BM sort of a liking towards BMWs knows about these cars. Like I said, they did have their fair share of problems, but I think if you get one that's been looked after very well, and they are a fantastic car. And there's a couple of YouTubers out there, and the biggest one obviously that I know of is TR Hamza. He's got himself a 335i but a manual, and his car did have a few problems with it, which he's actually rectified and corrected. So if you want to know how to do the actual corrections and maintenance work on them, check his videos out, because he does go through them in detail, and he actually does the work himself, so it saves a pretty penny, I'd say. But honestly, like I said, if you get yourselves a well looked after car, they're an absolute monster of a car. 300 horsepower is standard, whereas this one's 420 and about 450 pounds-feet of torque. So it shifts very well. So onto the inside. Again, pillarless doors, which I think makes the car look way better. And you get introduced with this M-Power kick plate. Again, full heated leather interior. Not that you need heated seats today, because it's absolutely toasty out here. And the actual dashboard is the standard BMW dashboard from that era for a car of this nature and caliber sort of thing. So it's got all the obviously heater controls here, dual climate control, AC, which is needed today, heated seats, traction control, which we're going to leave on for this video. Like I said, it's not my car, so I'm not going to be taking the traction off and getting the back end out. Not that I can, but you know what I mean. Don't want to be burning somebody else's tires. But it is obviously sat nav. This was a standard widescreen sat. No, sorry, not a standard. These were the optional widescreen navs back in the days. And yeah, again, the clocks. They never actually got a water temperature gauge on these cars, but you do get an oil temperature gauge here. And obviously water temperature, if you're getting issues with water pumps, which was one of the problems these cars had, I'm sure there's a water light that will come up there, so you'll know about it. One thing I've never really liked about these cars, even the diesels, the 335Ds, driven a few of them, absolutely mental cars, very, very good cars, is these. Now, the M3s of this era, which we do have a video of on our channel, so do check that out. You get the plus on this side and you get the minus on this side, which is standard. But the non-M-Power cars came with, you have to pull it to go up a gear and it's push it to go down a gear, and they both work exactly the same, which I'm not too sure why BMW have done that, but I'm assuming it's to keep the M-Power cars, like the M3 of this era and the M5s, give them the proper sort of up and down, one on each side, as opposed to they both do the same thing. So that's my assumption, but I'm sure people make up their own, and yeah, that's the way I look at it. But yeah, honestly, it's actually a very good cockpit for, you know, back in them days. It's got this is like I said, this is the M Sport, not the SE, because you do get them in a SE spec, and they have slightly less spec to them, but they're a bit more like smaller wheels, different bumpers and stuff. But the engine drivetrain is exactly the same. It's still a 335i, 3-litre, 6-cylinder, twin turbocharged engine up front and rear wheel drive. So if you're feeling brave enough, there's plenty of back end action to be had in these cars. And another interior feature, as most of you are probably aware, the driver's cup holder is always on the passenger side, so you can access to it there. And I don't think you're going to fit any of these newer, you know, this coffee sort of era that's going on, coffee shop era, should I say. I don't think they'll fit in there, but yeah, the driver's one's there and the passenger one's just over there. It's got like this gloss black sort of trim on the inside here, aluminium on the doors, which was I think optional extra back in the days, and push button start. So these sort of things were, you know, kind of like back in them sort of days, 16, 17 years ago, they were a optional extra, and they were, you know, you had to pay extra just to get them. But again, it actually made the car, you know, it was one of them things, one of them features actually made the car way better to differentiate from a standard sort of normal sort of model. And again, you know, it's got the gloss black here, all the gloss black styling here, and ZF, I believe, 6 speed, I don't even know how many speed, I don't even know how many gears this car's got. But yeah, ZF gearbox. It's not the DCT. I believe there was a crossover model which did have a DCT gearbox on the E92. I think that might have been the later 2010 sort of era when they crossed over to the newer shape and this. But yeah, this is the ZF old school box, and then you get your settings, the menu button for your sat nav screen, which is turned off now. So, but yeah, which is there, and obviously an old style handbrake, not a button. And as with most BMs, the OBD port is here, which if you've got one of these, then no doubt you probably had to use one at some point because some lights come on or something's gone faulty. But yeah, and then they've got these extra compartments at the bottom of the doors. They're there. This one's actually I'm not going to open it because it's personal belongings in there and stuff. But yeah, and then obviously your buttons here, windows, mirrors, automatic lights, and this car does have xenon headlights as well, with the halo lights, angel eyes, BMW thing. I've just noticed it's also got this feature. It actually passes you the seat belt, just so you don't forget to put it on. So with that there, I think there's no excuses. I think safety first, which is paramount anyway, obviously. So there is the heart of this thing. Now, when these engines first came out, I believe they were the first mass-produced twin turbocharged or even turbocharged BMW petrol engines. And they were known as, people used to compare them and even call them, you know, an update to the famous, the legendary 2JZ that you get in the Supras and the Aristos on the JDM sort of cars. But and with it, because I think it was purely because it was a 3-litre 6-cylinder twin turbo car, which is what they are. But I think these did have, the engines were solid, but I think a lot of other things around the actual block that were bolted on did fail, like turbos, injectors, water pumps, and these were notorious for having problems. And like I said, this car's actually had most of them problems rectified, if not all of them problems rectified in recent times. So this one is as good to go. And as you can see here, twin intake pipes, Berger Motorsport intake pipes, and I think that's an MTC hose, Forge intercooler pipes, MTC hose there, Forge blow-off valve, I believe that is. And yeah, the rest is all standard. The turbochargers are around there somewhere. I'm not even going to try and explain to you, they are over there somewhere. And I mean, it is a fairly big engine, and BMW engines are always placed this way because the gearbox is then in the rear wheel drive, so all the power goes straight to the back. And honestly, they're such a good, iconic sort of car, and I believe these will hold, a decent example will hold legend, classic sort of status, purely because of the amount of power they can produce. Standard blocks, I believe, can take over 500 brake horsepower, and now 500 horsepower, and don't quote me on this, I'm sure they could take more, but I'm going to stay on the safe side of things, say 500 brake horsepower. They're a menace. Honestly, they are a proper menace. In the wet, these are, you put it this way, if you're not an experienced driver, it will make your arse twitch. These things are very, very, very leery, especially with the traction control switched off. But the moment you sort of like switch traction on a dry day like today, they grip as long as you've got decent tires like this one has, and they will absolutely go. These cars are known to be, you know, they'll fly past mid 100s and they'll still carry on climbing. Not that I've tried it, but it's from what I've read. And they are, honestly, they're an absolute monster. So yeah, I hope you enjoy the video, guys. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Performance Lifestyles. Check us out, Instagram, Performance_Lifestyles, and we're on Facebook as well, Performance Lifestyles. And if you'd like your car featured, drop us an email, pflifestyle@hotmail.com, and we will be more than happy to accommodate. So yeah, drop us an email. We'll go for a drive in this car now, and then we'll conclude the video as per usual. So check it out. On to the drive of this 335i E92. And like I said on the actual walk around, this car is not a standard car. It's running 420 brake horsepower and 450 pounds-feet of torque. So it's no slouch, definitely no slouch. And you can actually hear the induction noises with the Berger Motorsport twin intakes and the stainless steel exhaust, the decat and stuff, and it actually sounds very, very good. It almost reminds me of the noises you hear from Japanese cars. I'm sure the owner will be impressed. But it drives, honestly, it drives beautiful. It literally, this is exactly how I remember them driving back in the days. And I mean, not a 335, but just any BMW from this era. They've got that similar sort of drive to them. They're heavy, they're well connected. You know, the steering wheel is perfectly fine. It's not like, the seating is fine. These seats are actually very, very good. They're even okay for if you're got slightly wider hips. Some seats are an absolute nightmare to jump into. if you're slightly on the bigger side. But no, these are perfectly fine. The bolsters up here hold you back in nicely. And like I said, the heated seats, not that you need heated seats today, because it's absolutely roasting. The whole cockpit's actually a very nice place. You know, the dials, like I said, they've got 160 miles an hour showing on them, and there is no shadow of doubt that I believe this will do that, because it will definitely do 160, and if not more, especially with it being at a stage 2 sort of map. This thing is like a rocket. Honestly, really quick car. And there's a lot of cars out there on the roads nowadays that, you know, there's youngsters driving them. They jumped in from a standard 1 litre Corsa to the newer turbocharged Fiesta STs, and all of a sudden they think they're Michael Schumachers and they can take on the world. But you're wrong. You're not in standard form anyway. I know them cars are tunable, and come up against something like this and you'd automatically assume, yeah, I'm gonna have him today. But no, you would be left in the dust with this car just sneezing away past you, completely and utterly annihilating you because of how quick this thing is. So yeah, hats off to the owner. He's got himself a very impressive car. All right, so we'll try it here from first gear. Even there was a little bit of a mess up. I forgot to put it into manual mode, and it automatically changed up gear, boys. I've never driven a 335i before, and a stage 2 335i. Oh, this thing is... I'm changing gear early as well, but it still pulls like a train. This thing is rapid, and I back up my statement that I said this thing was shock, absolutely shock loads of newer performance cars, and then sneeze at them at the end. So here we are from first gear. Impressive, to say the least. I'd almost say this feels quicker than my M4. I don't know what it is, but this is actually very impressive. This is a car I could get used to quite easily. And it's that sneezing noise. I did actually contemplate buying some intakes that sit behind the front grills for mine, but decided against it at the end. But after driving this, I think I might have to change my mind a little bit. I'll have to convince myself to get them. Oh, there's an M4. If it was my own car, I probably would have tried it. But yeah, these cars are very deceiving. Honestly, very deceiving in this day and age. Because you'd look at them and you'd think, yeah, they'll be all right, but nothing special. But no, this thing is very special. And you'll know about it when it flies past you. You can almost feel it like grip, but I suppose with the traction on, it would do. Take the traction control off and this car will be... You could draw them 11s on the road, I'd say no problem. No problem at all. And the brakes, they're quite sharp. And I'm not surprised, to be fair, with the size of them. They're humongous calipers. Literally humongous calipers, and I'm assuming this car's got a decent set of pads and discs and pads, because it seems to stop the car quite well. My only one thing with this shape BMW was the rear windows didn't open. And now if you remember the E30s had pop-out windows, the 36s had electric pop-out windows, but then the 46 had electric pop-out windows, and then these, they're just fixed, they don't open. Well, I suppose there's got to be a drawback to something out there. that sneezing again? Must be the hay fever in the air. The pollen count must be high because this car's sneezing away. I think the costliest actual repair work on these cars would be the turbochargers. A lot of 335i did suffer from that, but this one's obviously had them done. Again, injectors were another problem. This one's had them done. Water pump, that's another problem. This one's been done again. All these things have been done on this car. And oil seals, there's various gaskets and seals that tend to go on these cars as well. So if you see a bit of an oil leak, then you know you're gonna have to replace a gasket or a seal somewhere. But again, they're not major depending on whereabouts they are. But once you've got your car sorted, ready to rock and roll, you will not be disappointed, because these things are fantastic cars to drive. Very, very, very good cars to drive. They're a bit of a sleeper. You won't notice a quick car. I mean, you'll notice an M Sport because of the aggressive design on the bumper and stuff. But you won't expect it to be how quick it is, because a lot of cars from that era were done up. I mean, nowadays they're done up to make them look like something else, but this is the real deal. The N54 block is sitting there right under that hood, and all the power is right below my right foot. 420 horses of that. And then it sneezes at you too. I can't get over the sneezing. I know I've probably mentioned that about 3 million times in this video, but I just can't get over that. It sounds great. Right then guys, I hope you've enjoyed that video. I've had access to the car for a short while, so thank you very much to the owner, and thought I'd get a video out there, but because I've always there's been something about these cars for me. The 335i, I knew was a special car after reading up about them, seeing other videos and stuff. So, and it's a privilege to actually finally be able to drive one, and that's a modified one as well. So, you know, thank you very much. But yeah, I hope you've enjoyed the video, guys. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Performance Lifestyles. Check us out on Instagram, performance_lifestyles, and Facebook as well, Performance Lifestyles. So we've got plenty of videos uploaded on our channel, and we have got plenty of content to come, German, JDM alike. So do check it out. And like I mentioned before, if you'd like your car featured on the channel, drop us an email, pflifestyle@hotmail.com, and we will be more than happy to accommodate. There's a nice red S2000 there. I've not driven one of them for a while. Hint, hint. And as per usual, guys, stay safe, and hopefully we will catch you on the next video.